Welcome to the 2012 Bicentennial State of the City Address. Everyone please rise and welcome the color guard from Columbus City Schools Downtown High School. Please remain standing for the national anthem performed by Mr. Bobby Floyd and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Max Damron. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This letter was found in a time capsule found in the 1960s at a building that once stood at the corner of Broad and High. Columbus, Ohio, August 2nd, 1915. To the owner of this property when this box is opened. It may seem a foolish thing for me to write a letter to a person who is probably not yet born and who will not be able to read the letter for over 75 years. But I wish to express my keen regret of the fact that it is impossible for me to be with you when you read the letter. Not that I care to live that long, as I am 62 years old now, but I would like to stand with you when I place this box so as to be able to see some of the wonderful things that will take place and know about the surprising developments that will be made in art, science, and mechanics, and the wonderful advance in real knowledge. How I regret that I cannot know what you will know and see what you will see. For I am sure the people in this world will continue to advance as they always have, and you should be very glad that you are living in the 21st century instead of the 20th century. When I compare conditions that exist in this city today with those that existed 100 years ago, as shown in my grandmother's letters, Betsy Green Deschler, It is simply impossible to realize what conditions will be in your time. I doubt very much if you will really be any happier than we are, or my grandmother was, but you will know so much more, and things that will be simple to you would be wonderful to us. I wonder how far you will develop the use of electricity. To what point aerial navigation will be practically used? How wonderful will be your system of transportation, the development of heat, power, and light. I wonder what your form of government will be, for surely it will change from what it is now. Whether you will have wars and panics, sickness and poverty as we have, I hope not, and I believe if these things are not entirely eradicated, they will be greatly minimized. I wonder how you will live and what you will talk about, whether you will drink beer and whiskey and smoke tobacco. I'm enclosing a manual of the Columbus Club. I wonder whether your men will assemble at any place like that, play cards, pool, billiards, and take a social drink, or 2, or 3. I want to tell you what I think will become of the property. I believe our trust, a copy of which I am placing in this box, will expire by limitation in about 65 years from now. No doubt, the property will be sold by the parties who will then own it, some of whom are as yet unborn, and the money divided among them. The property will then have been in our family for more than 160 years. The building I am now erecting is considered by our best architects, engineers, and builders as being the very best construction that we know of today. No one knows how long it will stand, and probably no one ever will know, because it will become obsolete before it becomes insecure. Within 75 years, you will tear it down, no doubt, and erect a structure that will be relatively as fitting to Columbus as you know it, as this house is to Columbus as I know it. How I would like to see that building. My idea is that by that time, Columbus's immediate environment will contain a population of 1 million people. The house I am building is appropriate for a city of about 500,000. We have a population now of 210,000. Although I cannot be with you when you read this letter, I can imagine the sympathetic smile that will come over your face as you say, "That poor old man, how far he was behind in the times." But there is one thing you will not know that I will know. I know now where you will be when you take this letter out of the box, but you will not know where I am at that time, and possibly I may have progressed much further than you have done. I hope you enjoy building your house as much as I have enjoyed building the one you are destroying. I hope it will be successfully used, and I would request that you place a letter in your cornerstone to be read by the person who destroys your building to erect a better one, and place a copy of my grandmother's letters with it, as he will know more than either of us and may be interested in reading ancient history. With my kindest regards and very best wishes, I remain, yours very sincerely and regretfully, John G. Deschler.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Now, please help me welcome to the stage WBNS 10 TV Community Affairs Director, Angela Pace.
My city, your city, our city. They're talking about us, they're talking about Columbus. What a great song. What a great way to start the State of the City address. What if I told you my city was the best? My city is a threat to the rest. That's what they're talking about. Columbus, Ohio. Now, that's one of those songs all you American bandstanders out there would have given that a 72 because you can dance to it. And I started to pop and lock my way out here, but I was afraid at my advanced age I would pop something significant and lock up something that I was going to need later. And then I'd spend the rest of the night in traction swallowing Advil. So I'm going to conduct myself in a more dignified manner. But this city This city, my city, your city, our city. And we are celebrating our city's 200th birthday. 200 years of greatness. 200 years. Been great, being great, gonna be great. That's Columbus, Ohio. This is our bicentennial year. So we should be spending a lot of time right now trumpeting our greatness. We should be showing everybody how great we are, crowing about how great we are. We need to be telling everybody about all of our assets, all of our achievements, all of our accomplishments, all the things that make Columbus the best capital city on the planet. 200 years of greatness. Oh, by the way, I'm Angela Pace. So proud to say that I have spent all my years right here, born and raised here, just like the song said, this is home. Proud to be a hometown girl. And tonight, very proud to be Mayor Coleman's unofficial big sister. Because let me tell you, even though he's the mayor, he needs some sisterly guidance from time to time. You know how men are. So every once in a while you have to play big sister with him. But let me tell you, I'm very proud of him because I think that after 12 years, I think he's got a pretty good handle on this. What do you think? You think he's got it down? In November, Michael B. Coleman was sworn in for an unprecedented 4th term as the mayor of Columbus, making him the longest-serving mayor in this city's history. He might as well be mayor for life. That is quite an accomplishment. In his 12 years in office, he has worked very hard to build strong, safe neighborhoods, to create jobs, and to maintain a very high quality of life for the people of Columbus. Under his leadership, Columbus has become a top city for college graduates, for visitors, and very importantly, for families. To put it in his terms, Mayor Michael B. Coleman is trying to give Columbus some swagger. You like that? Want to do it again? Now, this is a very important speech, and I think it's wonderful that it's being held here in the historic Ohio Theater. What do you think? Is this a gorgeous theater or what? Perfect setting for the mayor's 13th State of the City address. This theater has heard so much beautiful music. We heard the incomparable Bobby Floyd earlier. You got to give it up for Bobby again. So it's only fitting that you should hear even more unforgettable music. You are about to hear a song about this city, a song that probably in some fantasy world could win a Grammy for the made-up category of best song ever written about a city celebrating its 200th birthday. What do you think? So sit back, get comfortable, take a look, take a listen.
Well, I got pulled into this process because I was on the education committee, and there was a lot of talk about creating an anthem for the celebration. And as I kept thinking about it, I said, you know, I think I know the vibe that they're trying to get. So I went into the studio and wrote this song and put it down and put a demo together. It just kept coming into my mind, we're not in Columbus, we're not afraid to try to live our best life. No matter what our hearts decide, it's the place where the dream's alive. And that came to me right away.
We're not afraid to try.
The first night that the mayor came to hear it, I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure. I had met Mayor Coleman before and I knew him, but never this way. He came in, he sat down in front of the speakers, and we played it. And he didn't say anything, no reaction or anything, and after it was over, he said, play it again. I noticed that his foot, he was patting his foot to it, and I was thinking, okay, if I'm reading this right, I think he's digging this. He said, play it again. And at that moment, that's when he said, oh man, this is awesome. When he started hearing those the us at the end, that's when it actually brought tears to his eyes, and he said, man, this really captures exactly what our city is. He said, this is Columbus. This is what it is.
One of the incredible things about the anthem is that Milt Ruffin worked very hard to understand what the essence was of the bicentennial, that it was inclusive. It was about the future-oriented piece. And if you listen to those words, you can't help but be inspired and know that he found a way to extend those key messages.
Wanted to make sure that he bridged the gap between our youth, and the older population, especially with Columbus being, a young city. He just felt he wanted to make sure that this was truly reflective of our community. So we brought in Malik Willoughby, who works for our Recreation and Parks Department, and he came through the Greater Columbus Arts Council. They did an excellent job of kind of vetting and looking at people that rapped and did spoken words, and he was fantastic.
Malik had done his homework. He had the facts together. And he had all of this real cool stuff that he was just, it's an unusual type of beat to rap to. But man, this dude came in and just laid it down. And it was just so slick right from the start.
8 bars can't say, I tried to nail the whole 8. However, with that being said, we've come a long way since a free state in 1812. Now we come together today like 270 belt. Get it? So with that being said, just coming together and being able to collaborate in this effort, and hopefully as we look forward to the next 200 years that we are even a tight community.
Achieving the impossible.
Let's all come together and sing this fun song, and so we put a shout out on Facebook and did an event. All of a sudden there were people that were just willing to give and wanted to do it, and it just became a whole time of friendship and fun and meeting new people, and just a time of just celebrating the diversity and embracing the diversity of our city through song. We can't all talk together, but we can all sing together.
I don't know if you've ever had a choir of 200 folks kind of backing you, or at least kind of catapulting you to the front, especially when you get to that crescendo, Columbus, Columbus, and of course they see the little guy with the flying hair, and they're like, the rapper, of course, I'm identified immediately, but it's like being catapulted. It's pretty sweet. It's like, if you've never had that, that's the coolest thing ever.
Demisha Marshall is a graduate of Fort Hays High School, and I've been knowing her since she was a little girl. And she's always been extraordinarily talented, very focused for a young person. But what's so cool about Demisha is that she's got this young urban thing happening, but she's very mature and polished as well.
200 Columbus, we come to celebrate.
200 Columbus, we come to celebrate just what makes us great. 200 Columbus, we come to celebrate. So 200 years from now, or anybody who hears that or sees it will understand that we really believe that 200 Columbus, we came to celebrate just what made us great.
But what it does is do something that no other city has done in the country. Let's have their own song, made, developed, written, sung, performed by those who live in our city, residents of our city. And it's reflective of a celebratory time, a time when we can look back into the past and be proud of our past, acknowledge our present, but using 2012 as the year that we take off into the future. Columbus, the coolest city that ever lived, young, smart, and talented. See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, singing the 200 Columbus Anthem, please help us welcome to the stage the 200 Columbus Choir.
Come on, stand to your feet. Everybody out there, stand to your feet. Let's clap our hands. Here we go. This is our town. This is our town. This is our time. Let the people gather round. Raise your arms high. Clap your hands loud. Let the good times start to roll. another level.
This is our town. This is our time. Let the people gather round.
200, yes.
On time
Bless.
and loud.
Progress.
Let the good times start to roll.
Forward.
200 Columbus, we've come to celebrate just what makes us great. 200 Columbus, we celebrate just what makes us great.
We're not afraid to try to live our best life, no matter what our heart decides. It's a place where their dreams are alive, yeah.
The best is still yet to come. Not just a dream for some, but for all who will stand with me to make Columbus the best it can be.
200, go!
200 Columbus, we've come to celebrate just what makes us great. 200 Columbus, we celebrate just what makes us
We're
great.
achieving the impossible and seeing the invisible. We're feeling the intangible and we're living the incredible.
The best is still yet to come. Not just a dream for some, but for all who will stand with me to make Columbus the best it can be. Yeah, these are our best days yet. Living with no regret, with swagger in this human set. These are our best days yet.
Come on, Columbus.
Us, contagious, courageous, curious, fabulous, gorgeous, harmonious, ingenious, joyous, rigorous, spontaneous, tenacious, audacious,
zealous,
Columbus.
Come on, put your hands
Yo,
together.
2 fingers up. Let's go to double bubble. From 700 population now in 130 nations, 800,000 come a long way. Free state 1812, come together today. Hey, 270 bell, diverse, where you wanna be a part of it all. The bug town, the start of it all, the talent, the art of it all, the heartbeat of the heart of it, humming it all. Like I know where the pulse of the OH. Columbus, we run this 200, we run this 2 double bubble. 2 fingers up. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
The best is still yet to come. Not just a dream for some, but for all who will stand with me to make Columbus the best it can be.
200 Columbus, we've come to celebrate just what makes us great. 200 Columbus, we celebrate just what.
Come on, let's take it to another level.
Take it to another level.
We're gonna
Raise it to another level.
Let's take it.
Take it to another level. Raise it to another level. 200 Columbus, we come to celebrate just what makes us great. 200 Columbus, we celebrate. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your mayor, Columbus Mayor, Mr. Michael B. Coleman.
goodness. Whoa, my goodness. Unbelievable. Welcome. This is going to be a fantastic night, and I'm so glad to share it with you tonight. But before I start talking about where we stand today and where we're going tomorrow, I'd like for you to hear a message from our friend, my friend, the President of the United States.
Hello, Columbus. I want to take a minute to congratulate all of you on your bicentennial. I've got some pretty good memories of Columbus. I remember seeing the graduation of some of your outstanding police officers. I remember walking down Livingston Avenue. I'll never forget visiting the Oval at Ohio State and sitting down with a family at their kitchen table in Clintonville to talk about how we can strengthen America's middle class. They even let me be the O when we spelled out Ohio. So I know how special this city is. And as you take time to reflect on the past and look forward to the future, I want to congratulate Mayor Coleman and all of you for continuing to make Columbus such a great place to live and to work. I'll see you soon.
All right. Mr. President, thanks for joining us tonight at our bicentennial State of the City. And what a fantastic program we have tonight. Let's hear from Max Damron, who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Man, he sounded fabulous. My man Max. And then Bobby Floyd for that fantastic rendition of our national anthem. And if you like the 200 Columbus Choir, let me hear it. Now, if you hear me out there saying two double bubble, you know why. And then my big sister, Angela Pace, for serving as our MC. And I want to also recognize our partners at City Hall. Columbus City Council President Andy Ginther, I saw here. President Pro Tem Troy Miller. Council members, stand up. Council members Herschel Craig, Priscilla Tyson, Eileen Paley, Zach Klein, and the mighty Michelle Mills. She hates me to say that, but I say it anyway. And then City Auditor Hugh Dorian. Where is he? Over here? Don't go, Mr. Dorian. We got something for you. And Municipal Clerk Lori Tyack. City Attorney Rick Pfeiffer. And then our great partners from the county. Franklin County Commissioners Marilyn Brown, Paula Brooks, and John O'Grady. And I call this guy the City County Engineer. City County Engineer Dean Ringel, and all of our elected officials here tonight. Thank you so much. And I want to recognize also Columbus City Schools Superintendent Gene Harris as well. And the members of the Board of Education and all the state representatives and regional officials who have come here this evening. I also want to thank my cabinet members. I don't thank them enough. I thank my cabinet members and my staff as well. I don't thank them enough either. And my chief of staff, Mike Reese, who's here somewhere over there behind the scenes. And thanks especially to all the members of my family for their constant love and support, especially my children, Kimberly, Justin, and JD, and then especially the people who started it all. Blame them. My mom and dad. Mom and dad, dad stand up. Mom stand up. Turn around, turn around. Turn around and say, I'm sorry.
And then my sister Linda and her son Stevie over here, yes. And then my sister-in-law Valerie, I call her J-Lo, but Valerie, Jeremy Murphy and Jeffrey Bennett, and my Aunt Elaine, I see her as well, is also here tonight. My whole family's here, and I'm grateful for all of them and all of their love. Today is a leap day in a leap year. But on a Valentine's Day 200 years ago in 1812, this city was established by the Ohio legislature to be our state capital. You know, our location was hotly contested. Even our name was a subject of significant political debate. The initial plan was to call us Ohio City, but a popular tavern owner in Franklinton named Joseph Foos felt a special kinship with Christopher Columbus and wanted our city to be named after him. When Foos learned the legislature was planning on calling the new town Ohio City, through an act of political cunning and statesmanship, he invited them across the Saddle River to his bar for a few drinks. So by the end of the night, and many drinks later, he had convinced a majority of the state legislature to name the new city Columbus. Now, how about that? Politics, a bar, a few drinks. You know, some things never change. In this, our bicentennial year, we will celebrate our past, show pride today, and use this year as our launching pad to greatness of our future. Our roots are here in the very spot, right here, where we gather here this evening. We stand at the site of the first Columbus City Hall. And I believe this whole room would have been my office. Now, city council, they could have been in the basement someplace. Just kidding, guys. It was here where the great Underground Railroad activist, Reverend James Poindexter, served as our first black city council member. And it was here also. It was here also where the United Mine Workers of America formed to improve working conditions of miners. In 1912, the original City Hall was destroyed in a fire in a suspected act of arson. Imagine that, somebody upset at City Hall. The Ohio Theater was built in its place, and this was a movie theater. But in 1969, the theater closed. The plan was that it would be torn down and replaced with an office tower. But our people came together and said, not so fast. So the community formed Kappa to raise money and save and restore this theater that you're in today. Kappa recognized it's a beautiful theater. Kappa recognized that a movie theater was no longer sustainable and transformed the Ohio Theater into the home for the Columbus Symphony, the Ballet Met, the Broadway series, Opera Columbus, and the Kappa Summer Movie Series. Now, this beautiful theater has achieved greatness by holding on to our roots while priming ourselves for renewal. Strengthen our roots, commitment to our renewal. That's what makes this city strong. And on this, our bicentennial year, the state of our city is strong. In fact, we are at the precipice of a renaissance in the city of Columbus. These past 2 centuries have brought upon us a sense of swagger that will catapult us into a new paradigm.
Swagger is a confidence to do what is necessary to achieve, a belief in yourself and a belief in your city. And that swagger is evident in our people, our neighborhoods, and our history. Our spirit and our renewal has been guided by our people for 200 years. From the very beginning, from Lucas Sullivan himself was planted the spirit of ingenuity, openness, courage, and compassion. Through his act of taking into his home and raising as his own a little black boy named Arthur Boak at a time when black folk were sold as chattel, Lucas Sullivan set the stage for generations to come that remains a part of who we are even to this day. With our bicentennial on the horizon, the city of Columbus has had a remarkable and historic year of achievement. At long last, the city of Columbus adopted a comprehensive recycling program for every single family household in the city. We started new programs that touched the lives of more than 3,500 young people. We installed 114 safety cameras to catch criminals and deter illegal activity in our neighborhoods. We reduced violent crimes across the board and reduced homicides by more than 11%. We created more jobs than any other city in Ohio. More people moved to Columbus than any other city in Ohio. And we had a lower unemployment rate than any other city in Ohio. We broke ground at American Addition to build 150 new homes in this once neglected and forgotten neighborhood, and began a revitalization plan to make Franklinton a new district for the creative generation of our city. We saw Wineland Park rise from the depths of despair with new homes and new opportunity. We saw more money invested to resurface more streets than at any other time in our city's history. We built almost 10 new miles of accessible sidewalks. We built miles and miles of bike paths, creating one of the best bike trail systems in the entire nation. We addressed the issues of hundreds of residents through our Neighborhood Pride program, where we held 4 town meetings across the entire city. We implemented domestic partner benefits for city employees. We opened the award-winning Scioto Mile and Columbus Commons, bringing 400,000 people to the center of our city last summer. And after a little elbowing, we brought 2,500 new casino jobs into the city and developed a plan that will embrace job creation in the entire area around the casino. We saved thousands of downtown jobs by protecting our investments in Arena District. We are creating 700 additional jobs through the expansion of Scioto Downs. We have taken steps to save $200 million in city health and pension benefits, exceeding our commitment to taxpayers. We maintain our AAA credit rating. In fact, our credit rating is stronger than the state of Ohio, the United States of America, and every other city of our size in the nation. In fact, there are only 12 nations in the world that equal our credit rating. And we are close to an agreement with our neighbors to stop using tax incentives to steal jobs from one central Ohio jurisdiction to another. Columbus was ranked as one of the next big boom towns, a top city for college graduates, for tourists, for kids, for families, the best city for economic growth in the Midwest, and among the smartest cities in the planet. And that's just last year. This year has just begun. And I want to thank every member of City Council for their contributions to all of our community accomplishments. Andy Genther for his role in job creation, Herschel Craig for his work in neighborhoods, and Priscilla Tyson for her work in our city finances, and Eileen Paley for her role in recycling, and Troy Miller for helping saving millions in health and pension benefits, and Michelle Mills for her work on public safety, and Zach Klein for his work on behalf of our youth. Thank you so much. And further, I'd like to thank the best city auditor in the entire nation, Hugh James Dorian. Mr. Dorian, please stand up again. Hugh James Dorian. You know he doesn't like this attention. That's why we're giving it to him. I finally know what the J of Hugh J. Dorian means. With all our successes and all our city swagger, for all we have to show, we have still much more to do. And if we want to stay the course toward greatness, we must meet our challenges with renewed vigor. One of our greatest challenges is vacant and abandoned houses. Although we have made great strides in this area, the scourge of vacant and abandoned housing continues to rain blight upon our neighborhoods. It's a cancer. It's a cancer that erodes the very fabric of our city by becoming cesspools for drugs and crime, for fires and destruction. And despite our efforts, about 6,000 vacant and abandoned homes shame our city today. And of those, 900 are so bad that they present a health, safety, and welfare hazard to kids and families in our communities. They must be demolished, and they will be. We will set aside $11.5 million over the next 4 years to tear down these monuments to misery and mayhem in our city. We did not create this problem. It was handed to us by banks, slumlords, and unscrupulous investors in the worst recession since the Great Depression. We will fight vacant and abandoned housing by creating a specialized unit of code enforcement officers, lawyers, and land bank officials solely focused on these properties. We will call them the Vacant and Abandoned Properties Team, or the VAP team. The VAP team will execute a 3-point plan to attack vacant and abandoned houses. It will enforce the rules, demolish the worst of the worst units, and restore houses where possible. The VAP team will be on the front lines in our neighborhoods fighting negligent properties and property owners. And for those out there who are serial offenders, you're about to get VAPs. You're about to get VAPs. We will provide a land care program that will pay neighborhood groups to cut the grass and maintain gardens. We will also sell some vacant properties to adjacent property owners for the value of their sweat equity devoted to that property's care. So in other words, if you can mow it, you can own it. For those who are perpetuating this problem rather than working with us to solve this problem, we will call you out publicly. We will publish the names of serial offenders and expose those who infect our neighborhoods. We'll call out serial offenders like Four Corners Investment. We'll call out serial offenders like Stillwater Asset Back Fund. And anybody else who reeks with the stench of blight in the city of Columbus. Because we're on a mission in Columbus. We're on a mission in Columbus, and that mission is to fight the blight. And we want to thank City Attorney Pfeiffer for his leadership on this issue as well. And Councilmember Zach Klein, who have worked hard on this. During this bicentennial year, where we recognize our greatest achievements, we cannot afford to lose our greatest treasure, our young people. But Columbus, we got work to do. We got work to do, Columbus. We must renew a community effort to restore the promise of our city to our young. There is nothing more painful to a city than to risk losing a generation of youth to crime, violence, and poverty. We must do for them what has been done for us. Bequeath a better city to the next generation and then guide them to lead it. Columbus is rooted in youth advocacy. We are rooted in leaders like the late Jack Gibbs Sr., who championed Columbus kids as a teacher, a coach, the principal of East High School, the first black high school principal in the city of Columbus. Are the East High grads here? We are rooted in leaders like Cliff Tyree, who passed away last year. Cliff established the Youth Services Bureau almost 40 years ago and was the founder of I Know I Can. And then former council member Ben Espy, who created the Columbus Youth Corps in the early 1980s. Ben is here tonight. Put up the lights. Stand up, Ben. Stand up. Let's hear it for Ben Espy. Do this, Ben. Like that. There you go. It was in Jack's, Cliff's, and Ben's footsteps we followed when we created the APPS program, APPS, APPS program, last year, which in its first summer pulled 2,700 young teens and adults, young adults off our streets and into our rec centers. And we are expanding APPS for this summer, deploying street soldiers to intervene with gang members and to deter violence. It was their example that inspired us to partner with Coleman to hire almost 1,700 youth to work last summer. And while these initiatives are important strides toward building our youth, the need is far greater than these initiatives can provide. To this end, tonight I'm proud to announce a new effort called Youth First. Youth First will shift the city's focus toward greater engagement in the lives of young people through sports, leadership, and anti-violence efforts. It will coordinate and communicate existing youth programs. We'll have a page on the Recreation and Parks website where kids and their parents can go to find all youth sports programming in the community. Because sports play a critical and important role in a young person's development. As a kid, I remember when my brothers and my friends like Eugene Duffy, who was here tonight, and I played baseball in our backyard from dawn till dusk. And somebody would smash a baseball into Mr. Stokes' window next door, usually Eugene. We eventually found a new place to play after we got tired of Mr. Stokes angrily chasing us down the street. Or my days as a running back on my middle school and high school football team. What are you laughing about? And no, it is not true that I wore a leather helmet without a face mask. I think it looks good. A funny thing happened on the way to learning how to catch a football. I learned teamwork. A drive to the basket instilled a personal drive to achieve. Practice taught me about discipline and hard work. And losing taught me persistence. Winning taught me leadership. And while our schools offer several sports at middle school level, not everybody makes the cut. And while there are some very affordable activities outside of schools, others can cost between $150 and $2,000 per player, which is more than many families can afford. And yet many of these same families have children plagued by obesity. Others are struggling in school. And we know that kids who participate in sports and they exercise, their bodies and their minds are getting healthy while performing better in school. That's why every 6th, 7th, or 8th grader in Columbus should have the opportunity to participate in a sport. So we hope to break down financial barriers to families who want their kids in a sport and make sports more accessible to more kids who want to participate. And so to this end, we will set aside $200,000 for grants to teams and leagues to open their doors for more kids and help reduce the financial burden to families with the most need. We will also encourage the formation of more teams and more leagues for more kids. Through an effort called Sports Mentor, we will expose these same youth to many athletes and sports figures that live in our city to give them not just lessons on the skill of the sport, but lessons in life, lessons in perseverance and leadership, and on what it means to be an adult. Lessons from people like Coach Sat Sullinger, who's here tonight. Coach, where are you? There he is. All right, Satch. And for those young people who would prefer not to throw a football, who would prefer never to skate on ice or never to shoot a basketball, they too can be leaders. They can learn about their city and become civic contributors through a new effort called City Leaders. This year, City Leaders will expose middle and high school kids to leadership skills and civic engagement as they grow into young adults. These initiatives will help our young people and prepare them for the future and give them a foundation from which to build. We are a city rooted in safety. We're a city rooted in justice and respect for the law. And we're also rooted in the belief of renewal for those who have served their time in jail for mistakes they made in life. Our community's hope for ex-offender rehabilitation began in 1875. And that year, there was a wedding ceremony at the Ohio Penitentiary, just down the road, attended by 1,100 prisoners and 500 Columbus citizens. 2 recently released prisoners, Ann McFarland, Thomas Miles exchanged vows. The guests included members of the General Assembly, Columbus officials, business leaders, and socialites who wished the couple a happy and more productive life ahead. Well, that spirit of restoration remains even today. Because each year, more than 2,000 ex-offenders in state prisons return to Franklin County after paying their debts to society. We can deal with the reentry of ex-offenders into our community in 2 ways. cast them aside into a cycle of crime and violence, or help them restore our community by restoring their lives. Now, if we choose the do-nothing approach, we will probably see them back in prison. And that comes at a financial and a social cost. It costs more than $25,000 a year to house an inmate in an Ohio prison. But if we help to train ex-offenders and prepare them for a productive life, we can break the cycle of destruction in favor of restoration. And to this end, we're creating the Restoration Academy, a partnership between the city, COWIC, and other nonprofits to restore the community and restore the lives of ex-offenders. Restoration Academy will be a hard-to-get-into, hard-to-graduate from 6-month boot camp for 15 candidates per year. It will address life skills, work readiness, job training, job certification, health and fitness, and culminate in an internship with the City of Columbus. Restoration Academy will be a tough, no-nonsense approach to reentry. An ex-offender who is fortunate enough to be admitted and works hard enough to graduate can earn a certificate qualifying them for a range of jobs in our community, including city government. Now, 15 per year is a small number, but it's a significant catalyst because we're setting the stage and setting an example for the entire community how we can help ex-offenders become productive citizens. Now, we take this challenge not because it is easy, but because it is the right thing to do. And as we offer the opportunity for self-renewal, we also have many of our neighborhoods in need of renewal. None of our neighborhoods is in more need of renewal than the south of Parsons corridor on the south side. Where 1 in 5 houses is vacant and abandoned. High teen pregnancy and infant mortality and death rates for chronic disease plague the neighborhood. In fact, there are more uninsured adults in this area than in every other part of Franklin County. It has a poverty rate of nearly 30%, an unemployment rate of almost 21%, and nearly 40% of adults don't have a high school diploma. Now, we call the community to act, and our call to action has been heard. This summer, the City of Columbus will break ground on the new John Maloney Health and Wellness Center on Parsons Avenue. The Wexner Medical Center, Columbus Health Centers, and the Columbus Public Health will work in partnership to offer a full range of services for everybody from infants to senior citizens in this health center. We will also work to rehab or build a new building as a home base for much-needed job training and housing and human services and child care for people that need it desperately in that neighborhood. We are addressing housing by seeking state resources to build 40 new homes for families and a 56-unit apartment building for seniors, both to be completed next year. And we are fighting for every job. As tonight, I'm pleased to announce that Columbus Galvanizing, a Southside manufacturing business, will invest $6 million to expand its operations and help maintain a stable jobs base for this community. But most importantly, importantly, this neighborhood needs champions to fight for them. And tonight I'm proud to announce the champions who have answered the call to action to save this neighborhood. Champions like Jim Grody, the founder and chair of Donato's Pizza, John Edgar and Community Development for All People, and developers Don Kelly and Bob Weiler, and Nationwide Children's Hospital and the Crane Group, and ODW Logistics and DLZ, and the United Way of Central Ohio, the Columbus Foundation, and Franklin County. Champions to save this neighborhood. Collectively, these champions will invest at least $3.2 million in the renewal of this part of the South Side. Now, these investments will include a comprehensive new effort to fix up homes, a new state-of-the-art early childhood care facility, workforce development training, and a healthy lifestyle initiative. And we need new champions to join us because our work has just begun. And while this Southside Collaborative and new investments represent great strides toward progress in this neighborhood, we still have miles and miles to go to turn this neighborhood around. The challenges here weren't created overnight and will not be solved overnight. But we take on this challenge not because it is easy, but because it too is the right thing to do. Sometimes the right thing to do is the hardest thing to do, and that requires courage. In order for a city to progress, it takes the courage of its people to act. It took courage for Jim Grody and his family to answer the call to action to save the South Side. Jim Grody could have continued to grow his extraordinary pizza business, now a chain of 200 restaurants all over the country. Yet in this, our bicentennial year, where we reach back to our roots, Jim Grody also reached back to his as a South Sider himself. He reached back to 1963, where he, as a college student, borrowed $1,300 from his father to purchase his first restaurant. Where? On the South Side. And he called it Donato's. And from there, the Donato's pizza empire grew over our country. But Jim had the courage. He had the courage and conviction to stand up for the area that got him first started. And tonight I'm pleased to announce that Jim Grody and his family, including his daughter, Jane Grody Abel, Donato's president and CEO, will contribute $1 million to this effort to save the South Side. $1 million. Jane Grody Abel and Jim's wife, Christina, are here tonight somewhere. There you are. Stand. That's right. Absolutely. Let's hear for them. They don't like this kind of recognition, but you deserve this and more. $1 million for that neighborhood. Thank you so much. And courage. Courage. Courage is in no short supply in those who risk their lives so that we may live ours, those who serve in our military. One veteran story in particular is a demonstration of courage not only on the battlefield, but on the field of everyday life in America. Steve Hill is a captain in the United States Army. He served 2 tours in Iraq. He saved lives in Iraq. He served his country with distinction. He is a City of Columbus employee. Army Captain Steve Hill is also gay. For decades, he had a secret. He lived in fear under the military's don't ask, don't tell policy. He told me that he defended other people's freedom but not his own because he was gay. He could not tell anybody, or he would be discharged from the army he loved. His fear was real until one day Captain Hill mustered up the courage before a national TV audience during a recent presidential debate to ask the candidates about their opinions on don't ask, don't tell policy. You remember this. As the audience roundly booed him, and they booed him, Captain Hill stepped out from behind the secrecy of his curtain and into the light. You see, people recognize courage. So did his fellow soldiers. So did his commander. And other people who up to that day did not know he was gay. But they all stood by him. Captain Hill's here today. Captain Hill, we stand by you too. Captain Hill, we stand by you too. And then there's my man Max. You all saw Max earlier. Max is 13 years old. He loves what other kids love. Football. Ocho Cinco in particular. Basketball. Dwayne Wade in particular. The movies. The Transformers in particular. He likes girls and likes to eat chicken wings. Max is also afflicted with spina bifida, a birth defect of the spine. Max has had 22 surgeries in his young life to address various problems related to spina bifida. And while Max can never use his legs, he has a heart and a smile that is bigger than the brightness of the sun, and an outlook on life that is more optimistic than anybody I know. He has the courage of optimism, because no matter his pain from surgery after surgery, Max is a mighty soul. Max is a superhero. In times when the weight of this office gets a little heavy, when I slump my shoulders or drag my feet, I go see Max, usually at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And I see Max lying in his bed smiling, unconcerned about his affliction or his pain. But his optimism is bursting through. As I look at Max, all of a sudden, the weight on my shoulders is lifted. How could I dare feel anything but optimism? And I ask, how could any of us feel anything but optimism? Max has courage. And Max is here tonight. Max, let's give him a hand. There he is. My man Max. Courage, compassion, and faith in Almighty God. These are the characteristics for our city. So let's go forth from this time and place and show our swagger to the world that we are the best city in the nation to live, to work, and to raise a family. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, big sister.
Michael B. Coleman, Mayor for life.
Don't say that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You did good.
You did okay?
You did okay. You did good. Take another bow. Take another bow. You did good.
All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Come on over here.
This is, well, I'm mic'd. I know it. I'm mic'd.
Okay.
I got my own mic.
Okay, all right. You're always telling me what to do.
That's right. This is swagger, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Columbus should be all about. This is swagger, and this is the mayor of swagger. What did that song say at the beginning? The This City song? What if I told you this mayor was the best? This mayor is a threat to the rest? There he is right there.
Is she trying to rap? He's trying to rap. I've heard her rap before. It's pretty good.
But this is our mayor. This is our city, and we should be very, very proud. Thank you, Mayor Coleman. And we will see you back here for the tricentennial, right?
In my coffin.
In your coffin. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael B. Coleman. You know, the mayor talked about, he really is a great mayor. The mayor talked about renewal and he talked about roots. And that's one of the great things about the city of Columbus. Yes, we are renewing. It's all about progress, and that's what makes us great. But when we renew, we don't get too far from our roots. One of the other things that is great about the city of Columbus is its wonderful arts community. Now, we have fantastic established artists. But the great thing, yes, we do. But the great thing about Columbus is that we also have these bright, young, rising stars. We have great painters and sculptors and dancers and singers and performers. And we embrace them and we encourage them. And I'm about to bring to the stage another one of our bright, rising stars. This young woman decided that she was going to weave her thoughts and her pride, her ideas about Columbus into a bicentennial salute to our city. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Barbara Fant.
Today beginning again. Columbus, I found the sun tucked beneath the us at the end of the column B. You honeyed me into reflection of myself. I was as smart and as open as the city lights found my face in the face of your eyes. How your cocoon of a heart fireflied me into existence, rocketed me into moon, and today we begin again. Tilling the ground like we owned it, transcending time through the power of life, light, golden. I found you round river bend, shaped like a heart in the center of my geography. You geographied me into building. And we built existence from one another, screamed agape down throat of diversity, fought the face of challenge, call it Ubuntu, community, city lights climbing victory's fire, voice, grew backbone from voices of others, every nonprofit that profited a smile from the opening of her soul, every possibility, that believed in the gold of her brothers and sisters' fins, climbing collectively into every community, built from historic limbs or the stems of every bird that planted you and watched you bloom. Can you hear the laughter shouting like a siren, the sirens flashing like our smiles? I believed in the heart of a nation that was bigger than me. Libraried myself into the festival of my history and inheritance, rivered me into destiny culture. You colored the face of this community, flooded with races, losing their faces in all that beauty. Beauty is what I'll call you. Skyscraping the floor of every entrepreneur that believed in the drift of a cloud more than his own fingers. Columbus, you are open city gate, birthing students from your belly, turning football fields into constellations. Columbus, we admire your glow, music, that every key of God cocooned us into a welcome, developing change, and every day we get to begin again, build again, shake a hand and love these friends, pumping art like blood through my veins. Columbus, I call you home, but know that this earth will call you gold, so shine, share, shape the sun beaming from your own face, dance to the rhythm of your own pace. You can't stop now. You've not only ran the race, you've constructed the track, paved the path for every limb to birth from your leap of faith. Those who came before to break ground, we owe it to them all the more to continue a history of healing difference, of braiding each other's creativity into community. So love a little louder, laugh a little wider, look into the eyes of history. Tell the future you own her. Remember the moment you caught your worth. Columbus, your water showed me how to divide, to break the aquarium's glass of my own mind. So whatever kind your seed, there's room. Whatever color your bud, let it bloom. We all bend from the same colored stem. And every day, every new morning, y'all, we get to begin again.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to premiere their new song, I Call Columbus Home, please welcome the Harmony Project.
Home is where the light's on and there's a place at the table. Home is where there's room enough to gather and be grateful. Home is where your heart is, a place to call your own. And oh, I call Columbus home. Home, this is my home. Home is where you're welcome and you'll always have a friend. Home is where there's harmony and the song never ends. Home is where the heart is and you'll never feel alone. And oh, I call Columbus home. This is my home. This is my home. This is my home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Home. Ooh. Ooh. This is my home. This is my home. Yeah, 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 yeah. lights on, and there's a place at the table. Home is where there's room enough to gather and be grateful. Home is where the heart is, and my heart will never roam. Home, this is my home, and no, I call Columbus home. This is my home, and no, I call Columbus home, and I'm home. This is my home, and I'm home. I call Columbus home, and I'm home, and you're home, and we're home. I call Columbus home, yeah. This is my home, yeah. And no, I call Columbus home, yeah.
Don't always get the.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judge Kimberly Cockcroft. Let's get up and sing. Get up and sing. Here comes your part. Ready? Sing chorus. Oh, I call Columbus home. Oh, I call Columbus home. Come on now, it's simple. It's simple. Hey, Mayor Coleman, come out and join us. Angela Pace, come out and join us.
Unique volunteer.
Columbus! All right. I hope you enjoyed that this evening. We love you, Columbus! Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the 2012 Bicentennial State of the City Address. Please have a safe trip home.